Alright, so we're back, and I see a very big crowd, I guess. Yeah, so we're just gonna, I fired up the app, and I have it running here, and it's being served. You can see the last time we left it was a blank app. I removed everything from the app component. We're gonna start adding the hero section, the intro section, and the footer. We'll see it all come together. So let's start opening some files. So I'm going to open the app component file, and I hope you guys remember the shortcut to open a file. It's Control P, and here it is. So that's the HTML file. So let's start with the section, and it's just an HTML attribute you want to define a section. We're going to call it hero. So I'm giving the class hero, and later on I'll be stylizing this through CSS. Then we're going to create a div inside, and this will be the inner section of the hero. So let's add h1 heading. So I'm just going to grab some lorem ipsum text, lorem ipsum, which becomes very can be quite helpful in this situation. So let's grab this. I mean, definitely you guys can replace this with your text, but I'm just gonna be lazy and use this for now. So let's give it some margin on the top. So this is a bootstrap class. M means margin, T means top, and 2, they have some percentage that they use. And let's what do you say we grab the next bit of text, and we'll put that here. Now I'm gonna save it, and we're gonna come back, and as you can see, it's just pre-plain, so we'll fix it later on. Don't sweat it. Whenever you want to start with any kind of website, you want to go as simple as you can. So here I'm just creating another section. That's the intro section, and I'm going to use a bootstrap class, and it's called container fluid, meaning make a fluid container. We're going to give it some margin on the top. We're going to give it a background, light background. So whenever I use a bootstrap class, I'll say this is a bootstrap class, and so this right now you can see this background because it's light. So the intro is we'll be using this class, but these ones are from bootstrap. Alright, so now what do we do? So we're gonna create a row, right? And we're gonna create a logo. So right below the hero image, we want to show our company logo. So we're gonna give it a class of logo, and we'll make it a column, and we want to make sure that the text is nice and centered, right? So, and then here we can put our image. This will be our logo. Let's give it an ID of logo, and the alternate, in case it doesn't load, will be logo, and it's the title. When people hover their mouse over it, we can say it's a company logo. We go to the next section. So I create another row, right? And then I'm going to create a paragraph, and then this is where you can put your company text and whatever you want. So I'll just grab this entire paragraph, and we'll put that here. Let's save it. So that's how it comes. Right now it looks ugly, I know, but as we go along we'll fix it. Oh, okay, I thought that thing was missing. So after that row, we're gonna create another row, and what we will do in this one is we will basically create 3 columns. So it will be basically like a row, then 3 columns where we can highlight the most attractive features of your company or your website or your personal profile. So once I have that, I'm going to create a column, And what we're gonna say is the SM means small. So on small devices like phones or something, this will break, and it won't be in a row anymore. It will be one above each other. I'll show you guys what I mean by this. 4 means take 4 columns. So when you create a row in Bootstrap, it actually divides the page into 12 grids. So we're saying out of those 12, take 4. That's what we're saying. And as I said, I'll show you guys very nicely how this all comes together. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a logo. Not logo, sorry, just an image, because it's nice to have a lot of images. And we're going to fill this up when we do CSS. And I'll just call it mobile. So this will be like a mobile section where we talk about our mobile dev stuff. And I still have that text, so I'll add that. So as you can see, this created one column. And what I can do, because I can be lazy, and let's copy this, paste it, save it. There you go. So you got create 3 columns. And what I'll do is I'll name these separately. So I'll call this desktop, and we will call the last one web. And it looks like we forgot to change this. Web desktop. This should update. Here you go. So that takes care of that. And last but not least, let's add a footer, and we'll just give it a class of footer, and we're just saying give it a auto margin, means nice and center. Let's create that copyright symbol. The way you do it is you just say and copy, and see it, Visual Studio Code is nice enough. We'll just tell you, and we will just say 2000 and what year is it? 2019. So it comes up here. This will be fixed. It's the footer has to go to the bottom. The other thing is I've hard coded the year, and that's not how it works. Later on, through an interpolation, we can make it dynamic. So every year it will change, and we don't have to do it like this. The other thing is I see is the text not centered here, and I would really like this to be nice and centered. So what I can do is maybe come here, and I can say you know, text center. There you go. It's nice and centered, and maybe give it some margin on the top. So margin top. There you go. That moved a bit. So that takes care of that. Now remember I was talking about, so this is a row. I'm going to prove it. So if you hit F12 in Chrome, this brings the console, and then you have access to other developer tools. You can take this arrow, and if you hover over an element, it selects it. So I'm going to select that. So as you can see, this is a row. When I hover my mouse over it, over here, it selects that row. Then I have 3 columns, 1, 2, 3. That's what I meant. So now remember how I said the SM, so means SM will be the small breakpoint. That's when it's going to break, and it's going to go one below each other. So you can hit this device toggle icon. So this is going to go into responsive mode, I guess. You can see responsive. Now you can see how it's going to behave on small screens and big screens. So I'm going to minimize this. So as I go big, they're going to go beside each other, and as I go small, it kind of goes this stack. So we call this website responsive design. So it looks good on any device, desktop, iPad, whatever you want. If I can then choose different device, so I can say iPhone X. That's how it's going to look. iPhone X. This is the portrait mode. I can go landscape, and you know, it looks nice. So I'll just close this for now. I think this video is getting long. I'll cut it now, and in the next video we're gonna do the CSS, and that's when the real fun starts. So I'll see you there.